3 years ago, North Carolina had the 5th highest unemployment rate in the country. We had about over 400,000 people that were unemployed looking for jobs, and we had a $2.6 billion debt to the federal government for unemployment compensation that we'd kept borrowing from the federal government with no plan on how to repay it. We had a $500 million missed forecast on Medicaid 3 years ago, which put a great strain on the state budget and didn't allow money to give teacher pay raises. And we had the highest income tax and corporate tax in the Southeast, so states like Tennessee, Virginia, and our neighbor in South Carolina were starting to use that against us in the recruitment of jobs. And we had a lot of challenges. I mean, the state was in dire pain, and a lot of people were hurt and a lot of businesses were closing down. But in the last 2 to 3 years, we're continuing one of the fastest and greatest rebounds in the United States of America. In fact, we're one of the few states that it's in the top 10 in both wage growth and family income growth. We've had one of the fastest declines in unemployment in the United States of America. We have now over 250,000 new jobs. I think this quarter or this past year, how many new net jobs in North Carolina?
71,100 in the first 11 months of new net jobs. We were number 6 in the United States for new net jobs created.
That's good news for North Carolina. We also, we've paid off the $2.6 billion debt to the federal government. We tore up the credit card about 6 months ago, so we owe the federal government no more money, which helps a lot of small businesses and large businesses who pay unemployment compensation, because your unemployment tax was about to go up unless we paid off that debt. And even better news, 3 months ago, we now have in our unemployment reserves over $1 billion. In our reserves for state government, which have been very inadequate, in fact, they've been about at 2% reserves, what we call the rainy day fund, we now have that up to about 5% reserves, and I had that much reserves in state government since before the year 2000. So in case there's another recession for the first time in a long time, we have sufficient money in our budget reserves to hopefully deal with any downturn, and in our unemployment reserves. There is a skills gap in the United States, including North Carolina. I'm still hearing from employers that we cannot find the qualified employees that we need to have. And we're seeing this with mechanics, we're seeing this with electricians, we're seeing this with nurses, we're seeing this with medical personnel, we're seeing this with IT personnel, we're seeing this with construction workers. By the way, during this last year, we've had double-digit growth in we've had 8% growth in manufacturing. We've had 6% growth in construction. The finance industry has grown double digits. The other services industries have grown double digit. But with that growth comes a need for qualified employees. And if we can't find welders, if we can't find mechanics, if we can't find IT personnel, the companies will not come here. Small business will not get business as a result of much of that. And so I think the greatest challenge for our high schools, our community colleges, and our universities is we've got to adapt to the economy and where our gaps are. And the state that adapts best and convinces middle school people to say there's a career in this area and where you can make a lot of money and you can have a great, not just a job, but a career. We've got to convince the lower age people to go, this is a career. The average age of a farmer right now in North Carolina is 58 years old. If they cannot find the talent, they're not going to come here or they're not going to stay here. So, and that's true with small businesses. So many small businesses are saying, man, I'm looking for one new person and I can't find the person I need. And that is a huge issue for both small businesses, mid-sized businesses, and large corporations, especially in manufacturing at this point in time.
There's no question mechanization is taking over. It is certainly putting pressure on the traditional line manufacturing jobs. So we have to have the kind of skills that can keep the mechanized process going. And that truly is the challenge. Governor, tell us about small business a little bit. What initiatives have you've got in mind, and you and I have had many, many hours of conversations.
Well, the biggest thing we did was tax reform. I mean, we're trying to put more money in the pocket. First of all, we're going to lower your unemployment tax. We lowered your income tax by 2 points in North Carolina. That's net new money for anyone that started a business. A lot of businesses don't pay corporate tax, but they have an income tax they have to pay. We are the 9th most populous state in the United States of America. How many knew that? Raise your hand that we are the... Thank you for not raising your hand, because I don't think 50% of North Carolinians know how big we are. We are the 9th most populous state in the United States of America. Since the last bond campaign in the year 2000, we have grown by 2 million people. 2 million people. So we can either anticipate what's going to happen in the next 10 years, or we can expect our future mayors and governors and business leaders to react to that growth.